to Always Learning in Wolf Creek. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to take an existing Google form that you have created and turn it into a quiz within Google Forms. So you may have a form that you've created that you've used as a quiz for students in the past. Likely you would have had taken the spreadsheet of the answers and used an add-on like Flubaroo to assess the test and return student marks to students. You can now do that within quizzes. So with your existing form, questions are already there. You just have to set it up as a quiz. The first thing you need to do is go to the gear wheel in the top right hand corner here where it says settings. Find quizzes, click on quizzes. The first thing that you're going to do is just click on the little slide bar to make this a quiz. If all of your questions are multiple choice, drop down, or checkbox answers, you can immediately after submission release the grade, and there'll be a link for students to see their mark as soon as they hit submit. If you have any short answer questions, it's recommended that you use the later after manual review, as this gives you the opportunity to assess or mark those specific short answer questions. You can also change the functions so students can see missed questions, so they can see the questions they got wrong. They can see correct answers, and they can see point values. You can turn any of this on and off as you choose. Now that you've turned it into a quiz, you need to set your answer key. So to set an answer key, you just click on your question, and then at the bottom of each question, there's a little answer key link here. You click on that, and then you choose the questions that are correct. Once you've chosen the correct answer, you can have multiple correct answers as well if you'd like, just by selecting them. You also need to set your point value for each question, and you can set that point value for whatever you'd like. If the point value is 0, it will show up as not marked by the students or in the student's end. It doesn't show it as correct. There's also the add answer feedback. So you can give students feedback based on whether they got the question right or the question wrong. So if you click on the add answer feedback, you'll notice that it says incorrect answers here. If I click here, I can enter feedback for students if they got the question wrong. You can also add links to resources for students. So you can paste the link and the text that you'd like to display in there. You can add multiple links here as well. So students who get the question wrong can go back and learn more about the concept or answer. You can also set feedback for correct answers. So if you want to just congratulate your students for getting the question right, you can set that up here. That can be done for each individual question. Once I have all of those chosen, I need to go down and do the same thing for each one of these questions. So for short answer questions, when you click on your answer key, you can't select a right answer, you can't type a right answer or correct answer, but you do need to set your point value just to make note that a student won't see the answer is correct unless they have full point value. So if you have a 5-point question and a student gets 3 out of 5 on the question, it'll show it up as an X or an incorrect answer to a student when you submit the release their score. Thing with the short answer questions, you can provide feedback. This goes to all students whether they got the question correct or incorrect. Your student will see the quiz as it is. It shows them the required questions. It lets them know that their email address is recorded when they submit the form so that you can email their response. It shows the point value of each question. And they hit submit when they're done. If you chose to release the score as soon as the student hits submit, there'll be a link here to their scores, and it doesn't collect their username or their email address. You can also change the settings to allow students to submit more than one response. Once your students have submitted their responses, you can get a summary of their responses within the form itself. So if I just click on responses, I can see a summary of the scores. If you have multiple students responding, this graph would look a little different, obviously. Your average score, median score, and the range of scores. You also have a frequently missed questions section. So any question that has less than 50% right will show up in this list because only one person has submitted an answer. They're all showing up there. From there, you can release the scores. So if you just click on release scores, it'll release all the scores that are available there. You can look and see how how the class did on each individual question. And then if you want to look at an individual score and release scores, you just click on individual. And you can go up and down depending on how many you have submitted. You can delete the response here, create a spreadsheet of your responses just by clicking on the green spreadsheet button. Now that you have this individual student score, you can go and review it. You can also add individual feedback for each student or each question, or the questions that you choose for each student. Just by clicking at add individual feedback, you can write your notes or your response here. And again, you can add links just by clicking on the link button. You can add multiple links if you would like to as well. And then just hit save to finish that. Once you've marked the individual test as you choose, you can release your score to your student. So if you just click on release score, you can do this individually by student, or if you go back to the summary and you can release all the scores. But you click on release score, it tells you who you can send a optional message to the student if you choose, and then you just click on send email and release. When you do that, your students will receive an email. If they want to see the test in detail, they can click on view. It shows them their total points. They can scroll through. It'll show them the correct answer if you choose that in your initial settings. It'll show them the questions they got wrong or the missed questions too. So they'll have next if you choose to release that. It shows them the correct answer if you choose that as well. So they can go through and analyze that if they choose. If you do leave individual feedback, it will show up at the bottom of each question that you do provide feedback for. And that is how you can turn an existing Google form into a quiz